Okay, now we got it. Now we got it. Okay, I was having some problems here. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. I'm so excited to have this my very first guest on this discussion, the around the table discussion. I am so excited to have on the discussion live today. If you just give me just a minute, I want to make sure that she's able to come in. Hopefully, I won't cut us off, but I'm gonna try to make sure she's able to come in and and then go from there. Hopefully, she's able to come in briefly. Okay, San. Hopefully, you're able to come in here. I should have one guest. There you go. There she is. There she is. Where are you, San? Is she on? Okay, wait a minute. There she is.
I was backstage. Girl, that backstage thing.
How you doing, girl?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Did you hear all of my
I
chattering I
did.
was doing?
I did.
Okay,
I was
okay.
backstage, so it kept telling me the host can see you, but nobody else can see you until she let you in. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wait till she let me in. How are you doing today?
Okay. No problem. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got the little one. When I let you talk, I'm gonna handle her. But
Okay.
right now,
I you're going in and out, so I don't know if it's my
I want to
internet. And
give. I want to give. Okay.
I've been
Oh
having
Lord.
with my internet. So I don't know if it's me or you. But I'm plugged in so that it's not affected by the wireless server. So we're just gonna make it
Okay.
work.
Okay. So we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Just try to. After a while, I'll be quiet and you'll be able to talk. So hopefully, we won't have any problems.
Okay.
Okay, okay, but before I get started, I want to reintroduce San to this discussion, my around the table discussion today. Before I do that, I want to thank God and thank you all for this day. It's a glorious day. A little gloomy outside, and that could be why my thing here is acting up, but that's all right. It's okay. We're gonna make it do what it do. Y'all, I thank y'all so much for coming here today. My guest today is not only a survivor of cancer, she is a survivor of all odds. I mean, she's my sister from another mother, from way back when we used to hang together and be sisters, and we grew up somewhat together. We had a lot of mostly ups in our life. It was always fun with me and San. And then we both joined the army, and not together, but during the same time frame. I might have joined just a little bit sooner because I was older, not much older, just a year older. But anyway, I gotta put that in there
Oh,
now.
now you older now. Accept it. Older. It's a fact.
So,
No
we
lies detected.
yeah.
No lies detected.
So I put in some time before she came in, but then when she came in, we it was just like old times with us. Then San took off and did some things that I did. I had to follow my little sister in, and I did it later on. She became an officer, and I was just like so proud, so very proud of Miss Sandra Johnson at the time. So proud of her. And then, Sam, believe it or not, I don't know if I ever told you that you gave me the kick to go ahead and do what I was going to do anyway. You pushed me. You did. You don't know this, but you did. You did. And I got a girlfriend of mine who can verify that because I told her.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you owe
Yes.
me some dividends or something? Because
I might. I might. I might.
you don't owe me anything. No, I'm just kidding.
So yes, girl. So let me move on, y'all, because I want y'all to hear her. Um all those wonderful things that we experienced during our time. And thank God we made, I'm almost 50 and we're still here. We're still here. San overcame something that my mother, because we're here today because today I'm celebrating my mom. This is the day, the 26th is the day my mom left this earth. Not this month, but on the 26th of the day was the day that she left. She also dealt with cancer, battled cancer for just like this. It was a short period of time because the doctors caught it late. We all started working on it aggressively, but it was, kind of late in the game. However, Sandra survived. Along with many others out there who I salute, you guys are survivors, and I thank God for you. So, without further ado, I want San to kind of give us a timeline and some of the things that she faced on this journey. Take it away, sis.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, Nikki, to speak. And I am just excited to be a part of honoring your mom because I don't know if you remember this, but your mom taught me how to put on mascara. Not that I was able to do much with it, but her lips
Yes.
were just so long and beautiful. And I was like, oh, I love your lashes. And she was,
Uh-huh.
it's mascara, honey. It's just mascara. And she showed me how to put one coat and let it dry, and then put another coat and let it dry. And as you keep adding the coats, the lashes get longer and longer. It's like, oh my God, I was so excited. I was never really into makeup. So that was like a really awesome opportunity to learn something and try my hand, try to, get out there and do some makeup. But I still never really got that much into makeup until now, after having gone through treatment and losing my eyebrows and losing my eyelashes and all that. So now I'm adding more makeup than I normally wear, but I'm approaching 50. I'm following in your footsteps now. I'm approaching 50, so I figured I could go ahead and try my hand at some new stuff. But yeah, so thank you again for having me, and definitely happy to honor Miss Bernice. And I will say this is definitely a journey I had no idea I was going to be going on. Of course, anyone who has been diagnosed is surprised. It's always a surprise. Even if you find the lump yourself, because you really want it to be benign, you want it to be something that is whatever all these other things they're telling you it could possibly be, you want it to be that. So it's always a surprise when it comes back and they got to give you this serious, slow talk and then get into talking about treatment plan and all that. But I discovered the lump during a routine self-exam. And I say routine because I joined the Army at 17. I don't know if you remember, Nikki, but I was still in high school. I joined in February of 89. I think that's when you graduated. Didn't you graduate 89?
Yes.
Yeah, so I joined the Army in February of 89, and I did this split option. So during that summer of my junior year, going into my senior year, went to basic training, became all this tough and this rigorous person, into more into fitness than I thought I would ever be. But at a young age, I'm wondering why they're making us do all this running and sit-ups and push-ups. And then as we shower and we're able to see ourselves, because under all that camouflage, you don't know what you look like under all that camouflage and sweat. But starting to see little muscles develop, and I'm like, oh, this is good. Okay, well, I like exercise. So from that point, I started loving exercise and just getting more and more into it. So I come back from basic training and my advanced training, and I do my senior year of high school. And I don't know if you remember this, but I graduated from high school. I went to Troy for 2 weeks, and then my unit got activated. So, we ended up going to Desert Storm, and I became a veteran at a real early age, a war veteran at a real early age, but I persevered and pushed through. But I bring all that up to say, at an early age, as a female in the Army, because you're not a woman in the Army, you're female. Inside, you're a woman, but it's male, female. So as a female, the doctors teach you how to, especially as a young female, the doctors taught me how to do my self-exam every month. So this is from the age of 17, 18, and joining the military and doing my self-exam every month. So 20 years later, I mean, it's 20 years later, I'm getting my numbers off. Okay, 18 years later. So I'm doing my self-exam as I normally do. And I bring all that up because if you start a regular habit of checking yourself, if you create a good health hygiene of maybe doing a self-exam once a month and pick the same time during the month, so you're a little consistent with it. So it may be, if you're a young lady, it may be before your cycle, it may be after your cycle, but you need to have some type of time frame to gauge, and just begin to do your self exams, and your doctors will show you how to do it the correct way. Do your self exams and become so familiar with yourself that if something is off or out of the norm, you're able to notice it, because more and more researchers are discovering, survivors are discovering, even those who have no idea that they're going to be going down this road or walking this path or being on this journey. Discovering that early detection is key. So there's a lot of things we can do that contribute toward prevention, but we can't literally prevent it unless we know exactly what's causing it, which is so many things: environmental, stress, some of the things in our diets, too much alcohol, all these things I've been posting on my Facebook platform just to kind of educate people. But there are so many variables out there that contribute to tumors within the body, which which cancer cells develop and they continue to grow, which causes tumors. So being familiar with your body by being consistent, having that healthy habit of doing your self exams once a month, and preferably during the same time of the month every month. And also, they are recommending that the mammograms are done at age 40, or at least that was the recommendation. Now they're even saying that you should wait until age 50 to start having your mammograms. I personally don't agree with this, because more people are being diagnosed with breast cancer at younger and younger and younger ages. So it doesn't make sense that the recommendation is that you wait until you're older to start getting your mammograms. You can request a mammogram. I know some people may have difficulties because of their insurance coverage, because of their health providers' guidelines or what they recommend. But you can always, go out and be an advocate for yourself and fight for your health, fight for the opportunity to be in the know. about your body. And the self-exam is just a part of it. The mammograms, the screening, the imaging, that's another part of it that gives you more detailed information about what's happening within the body that maybe you can't feel or see with the human eye, but that the imaging that they do can detect it and is able to reveal it to you. So um, when I discovered this lump, or I'm gonna say suspicious area in my breast tissue, I was very familiar with my body after having done my self exams once a month for so many years. And I knew that something felt off. There was a little pain associated with it, which I hadn't experienced before. Now, that's not always the issue. There's not always going to be pain, and it's not always going to show up the same with each person. Each person may have a different way to describe what they found or what was revealed to them via imaging, mammograms, ultrasound. Um, Sonogram, or whatever imaging that they use, it may show up differently for each person. However, when I felt this suspicious area, I felt like I need to talk to somebody about this and let them know that this is not normal for me. So, expressing that and trying to get them to help me to figure out what this is, I felt really good about it. I felt adamant about it. But then I felt like I was kind of blown off because I was young at 36, actually, at the time that I found it, because I was 37 when I was diagnosed. Um, but or 35. I'm sorry, I was 35. I was 36 when I got married. So I was 35 when I found it, 36 when they diagnosed. However, young compared to what they typically expect to see um, this type of activity or suspicious activity within the body. So it wasn't very developed. So that's why I say suspicious area, because it just felt different to me. So I say I found the lump because it grew into a lump, but it wasn't really a lump when I found it. It was just the tissue in that area was normally smooth. And now there was something like, you can tell your skin's, just for an example. If you normally rub your arm regularly, you know what your arm feels like. And when there's a mosquito bite, you absolutely know something is different. Like, my skin don't normally feel like this. And of course, there's the itching associated with the mosquito bite. But let's just say if it wasn't itching there, and you know that something on your skin is different than what you're normally feeling, that allows you to investigate. That allows you to pay attention to that area and say, something is wrong here. I need to talk to my doctor. And then your doctor, if we use the same example at the mosquito bite, your doctor say, well, we don't see or feel what you're describing. But maybe it's just allergies. We'll give you something for that. And that's kind of what I went through. It's metaphorically speaking, because they said maybe it's an infected cyst. We don't see or feel what you're describing. Maybe it's an infected cyst. So take these antibiotics. And I had 3 weeks worth of antibiotics. And as I'm taking the antibiotics, mind you, it's not getting better. In fact, the suspicious area is growing into a lump. It's becoming red and swollen, and the skin is continuing to change. But sometimes, things get bad before they get better. Sometimes it's a disaster before, everything is a-okay. So I just felt like, trust the process, take the medication, finish it as they instructed, as it has been prescribed, and then return. So I did my due diligence and returned, and I was adamant about, hey, this is not helping. In fact, the issue, it has gotten worse, and we need to do more imaging. There's something there. I have this stabbing pain that's really random, and I was still working out regularly, and it would normally happen after I worked out. So I don't know if all this adrenaline and endorphins and excited morphine hormones within the body was generating that suspicious area to get active. But I noticed after physical activity, any particular exercise, even if it was something I was doing for enjoyment, these random stabbing pains would come. And when I say random, it's like maybe like, oh, I feel something weird there, and I'm driving home from the gym. And I don't feel it again until maybe I'm in the shower. And then I don't feel it again until maybe right before I go to bed. So it was really random, but it was throughout the day. And it was, I want to say, almost every day. And it has been 10 years since that all occurred. So I don't remember exact precise details with regards to that, how often the pain was, whether it was every day, I can't say, but I know whenever I did experience it, it was multiple times during the day, very random, very unpredictable. So I'm still insisting that we need
So,
to. Uh-huh,
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
Along with the stabbing pain, did you have any other symptoms?
No, other than the redness and the swelling that I told you about, there weren't any other specific symptoms other than as the area was continuing to become agitated or grow, um, or manifest itself, invade my body, there were other symptoms that were showing up, like the itching, the redness, the swelling. And that's because the tumor was growing. So my tissues, my literal DNA was changing. So yeah, things are gonna be showing up that weren't originally there. But really, no, it was just me knowing that something was not right. It wasn't normal, and we need to address it. And I felt like, you don't want it to be cancer. We don't ever want it to be cancer. But even if it's not cancer, let's just remove it. And they just insisted on doing the imaging and trying to figure out how to treat it before taking that step to remove it. And that's not the case with everyone. I know some people, they have the radical mastectomy to where they go and have both breasts removed, as a choice. Maybe they had breast cancer as a history in their family, and they decided that they just wanted to take that action. But you got to also keep in mind that I'm in the military, and they work for me, but I work for them. So they want to get me patched up and back, out in the field, out, we don't see what's going on, get back to work. And that's not what they said. But that's kind of, the treatment is not to coddle you. That isn't the way the Army medical facilities address your concerns. And I'm sure you're familiar with that. If you got a concern as a soldier, let's take care of it and get back out to what you need to be doing to save the world and fight for your country. So, it was that kind of thing. And I was just really persistent in this investigation because I knew my body. I had been doing this exam for years and checking myself, and something just ain't right. So again, everyone is not going to have the same approach. Everyone is not going to be as adamant about it because nobody's going to fight. You better give me this bad news. Nobody's going to have that approach to it. But again, I just felt like even if it's not bad news, it could be totally benign, but there's pain there. And that was one thing that worked against me because at the time they did not associate pain with malignancy. So they kept saying, well, we don't associate pain with malignancy, and we don't see anything in the imaging that's of concern. We don't see the spikes that we normally see of like the white, it's a white glaring imaging that's within a calm body. And they can specifically see and say, hey, that does not look good. So they didn't see that. And that's what they were looking for. But it was so small. And as I discovered later, it was so far within my chest wall that they had to really get deep in there to see it. So if they're just on the surface doing the mammogram and getting as much of the tissue as they think without really pushing me to go deeper into the machine to capture that image, they weren't going to be able to see it until it continued to grow and reveal itself. So that's kind of the whole synopsis of how I, hi cutie. So that's the whole synopsis of how that process was, with me being a determined advocate for myself and a really persistent investigator of, let's get to the bottom of what is this. And I'm so adamant about it now because so many people aren't. I mean, even going through my treatment process, there were receptionists. I would go to a doctor's office and they're looking at me like, wow, you're young. You had breast cancer. Oh, wow. I got this lump that's been bothering me. And I don't think it's anything, but I'm really just scared to get it checked out. And I'm like, no, go get it checked out, because the sooner you know, the more options are available to you as far as treatment or as far as whatever needs to be done. So I am a strong advocate now for the earlier you know, the earlier, if something is not right within your body, can be detected. And the earlier you can do something about it, also the more options are available to you to do something about it. So I know that, I know that many doctors have said early on during the treatment of breast cancer, there were very few options that women had. And 9 times out of 10, the option was going to be mastectomy. There was no chemo first or radiation first or even a lumpectomy, which is a surgery done to just remove the tumor and tissue around the tumor to try to preserve the breast. That wasn't even an option early on. So the more research is done, the more early detection is made, the more options we have available to us to, go in and address whatever the situation is. So some people, yes, they will find out too late, or they know something is going on. For example, the reception that I was speaking of, and receptionist, and they're just afraid to go in and investigate or find out, or afraid that it's going to be bad news, and it could possibly be nothing, but because they're afraid to go in, it could turn into something and be more detrimental if they don't do anything about it than if they went in, had it detected, had it treated, move on with your life. So I just try to constantly advise women who suspect anything going on that's not of the norm, get it checked out and don't hesitate. Don't hesitate.
Okay, when I listened to you on the other talk show that you were on, or I forgot the name of her. Can you tell us who
Heavenly
she?
Heavenly Fresh. Yeah, they have
Okay,
a
yes,
series.
yes.
It's called As I Rise, but it's Heavenly Fresh Ministries, I want to say. Yes.
Okay, it was a great interview. I remember you saying how you stayed on them to check it out and see. You know what? That's something I had to learn to do, to stay
Mhm.
on the doctor.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging all you listeners to stay on your doctors, because number one, if you have, even if you don't have insurance, if you have insurance, you need to get to the bottom of what's going on, and your health is so important. And I'm so glad that Sam stayed on them, because when they did find it, what happened? How soon did you have to go and handle it?
So I want to say it was around March of 2009 that I discovered it. And I don't think I was able to get an appointment until April, like the next month. And between April and December, it was doctor visit after doctor visit. And that doctor, not sure, they didn't see anything. I'm going to try this one over here. So I'm, in Maryland, DC, Virginia area. There are so many military installations there. So Fort Meade, Fort Myer, Andrews Air Force Base. It was wherever I can go to try to get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion. I just wanted someone to be able to help me figure out what was going on. And if my doctor can't figure it out, nothing against my doctor, but let me see if someone else can help me with it. And so I kind of went a long time trying to get to the bottom of this issue, only to be told in December, 7 months later, that there were malignant cells and it was aggressive. It was an aggressive tumor. Now, I think it became aggressive over all the poking and prodding and trying to figure out what's going on, agitating it as opposed to just removing it. So, everybody has their own opinion about certain types of medical procedure. My opinion is if there is a tumor, a growth, a cyst, something within your body, I know, and I'm not a doctor by any means, but I know that agitating it in any kind of way could possibly make it worse. And I'm sure that the doctors know this too, but they use the minimal step or the minimal process. So let's image it and then let's biopsy it. And I didn't get my biopsy until December, which is when I was diagnosed. So had I not had the biopsy, who knows how long I could have continued on that journey of what is this? But thank God that a doctor finally recommended a biopsy, and we did the biopsy, and 2 days later they called me to say, we need you to come in so we can discuss the results of the biopsy. And it was not good. The malignancy was there, and we need to talk about a treatment plan because we need to start treatment right away. And we need to start treatment right away because it is a small tumor. I believe it was between 2 and 3 centimeters, small on the grand scale of things, but it's aggressive. And in my mind, it has grown, and it probably was, so small that it could have been removed without all the extensive treatment that I had to go through. But because it wasn't removed and it grew and it was agitated with all those doctor's visits and all those exams and all those imaging options that they just imposed on me. So to treat an aggressive tumor, the recommendation is to do chemotherapy first to shrink the tumor. Mind you, probably back down to the size it was when I discovered it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Chemotherapy first to shrink the tumor. And we want to shrink it so that we can use the lumpectomy as an option to use minimal invasive treatment and possibly preserve the breast. So we're thinking breast conservation. We want to conserve it as much as we can with the lumpectomy. So ideally, in a perfect world, that would have been so beautifully done. However, after 4.5 months of chemotherapy, the tumor did shrink. And when they went in and removed the tumor, along with additional tissue that was surrounding the tumor, the pathology report comes back that they did not get clean margins. And a lot of people don't really understand what that means. So what that means is when you have a tumor, the tissue around the tumor can or cannot be affected. If it's totally encapsulated, if it's totally contained, the tissue around it won't be affected. So when they take that extra tissue, those cells within that healthy tissue surrounding the tumor won't have malignant cells. So they will be considered clean margins. So I didn't have clean margins. So when they took the extra tissue, everything was malignant. The tumor, all the extra tissue surrounding the tumor was malignant. So it was all cancerous. So their recommendation was to go back in and do another lumpectomy. And now I'm thinking, because I'm so analytical, I don't know where I get that from. Maybe my mom. You know my mom. So maybe I get it from my mom. Anyways, I'm so analytical and I'm thinking, well, if the idea is breast preservation, tissue conservation, and you're going in to take out another, let's just say, chunk of tissue, if you're going in to remove more tissue, not sure if you're going to get it all or not, then haven't we defeated the whole purpose of breast preservation? So let's just go ahead and remove the whole thing, and then won't you know we got it all? I think I'd rather be safe than sorry. So that was my thought process. And I think because the doctors do have that minimal approach, we don't need to take drastic measures. Let's just, do, step by step. But for me, it was like, yeah, let's just get to the bottom of it. Let's just nip it in the bud. And I think it was a relief to them that I was okay with having a mastectomy as opposed to another lumpectomy, only for them to tell me we didn't get it all. I didn't want to go through that. So I just felt like, let's go ahead and take charge of the situation. Mind you, by this time in my military career, I was a logistician. So in logistics, we're like, what do we need to do? Who do we need to do it for? Where do we need to be? What time we need to be there? What do we need to have with us when we are there? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking logistically, what do we need to do? Let's just get to the bottom of it. What's the next step? How long do we have to do this? What do I need to bring with me? Other than my Bible, what do I need to bring with me? So, yeah, I was really probably a breath of fresh air to them because I wasn't so down in the dumps. Now, I will say, once I was diagnosed and everything set in and resonated with me, I was a little frustrated that I had gone through 7 months of all this trying to figure out what was going on for you to tell me that not only is it cancerous, but it's aggressive and we need to do something right away to address it. And I'm like, I've been addressing it for 7 months. Y'all been playing around. So I was mad for about 2 weeks. Literally, I stopped myself because it just came over me, Nikki. And the only way I can describe it is like a calmness. Like there's this energy in my body. There's this dis-ease, right? That's what disease, right? There's dis-ease within the body. And I'm agitated mentally, but physically I'm agitated as well. And it just came over me. Don't be mad at them. This is not their fault. Because I'm so spiritually grounded. I know that if God wanted the doctors to see that tumor 7 months ago, it would have been there. They would have saw it. It would have revealed itself. So it happened the way it happened because that's the way God wanted it to happen. And that snapped me out of my frustration with the doctors. Now, of course, the treatment is a whole nother set of frustrations, but it's because you don't know what to expect, and it's because you're going through all of these different things that change your body. You lose your hair, you lose literally all your hair. Some of you are happy to get rid of. You don't have to shave your armpits. It's just, it doesn't grow. So I was happy about that. But you lose the hair on your head, you lose your eyebrows, you lose your eyelashes. If you got a little mustache, as a woman. We don't want that. So you lose that and you don't have to worry about that. But there are some other things that come that are really tough to deal with: the discoloration of your skin, the fatigue, and you're losing your femininity because there's no hair and nails and lashes and things to just make you feel pretty. So it generates another set of frustrations. But once I pray, I do my research, like I'm trying to research what's happening, or why are my nail beds black? And I'm looking that up, and then I see, and then I've got like, okay, that logically makes sense to me. Okay, I'm gonna pray about it. Now I can move on. So that was kind of my approach with each new discovery. Mouth sores. So you wake up one morning and this is all because of the treatment, and you've got sores in your mouth that you can't you can't even figure out how to describe. It's hard to swallow. They're on your tongue, on the roof of your mouth, they're in your throat. And it's like, what is this? I can't eat, can't drink anything. So all of these things, as I discover in my research, are a result of the treatment, because this chemotherapy has these toxins in it that are designed to go into the body and attack these cancerous cells, attack the tumor, attack the malignant cells, get all of that. It's toxins coming in to fight toxins. But in the process, there's some innocent bystanders. So your healthy cells get attacked. Your healthy cells are destroyed. And that's why you lose your hair, you have trouble with your skin, and trouble with your nails or nail beds. Hair, skin, and nails, those are the fast growing cells. So those cells are affected first. And then there are some other things that you may struggle with, your GI tract in terms of digestion, because a lot of things that are happening within your body you can't see. So you're really in reactive mode, and you just have to pay close attention, get your rest. You have to get your rest, because when you rest, it allows your healthy cells that are trying to fight for their lives to rebuild their strength back up. That immunity system is being attacked. You have to rest and build it back up. And I know some people, they want to keep some sense of normalcy, and I did at first. I wanted to continue to work. I wanted to appear normal and continue to go to church. And I don't want people feeling sorry for me. And I was very appreciative and very grateful for the empathy and the compassion, but I didn't want people just really sad and crying, because I felt like there has to be a reason that I'm going through this. And I want to be able to be alert and pay attention and figure it out, or at least be present for it. And when I took that approach, it allowed me to just rest in God's hands. And I literally mean that, like, just rest in God's hands. And so I would take crayons and coloring books to my chemotherapy treatments, because I'm just going to sit there with my iPod. I had my iPod and my earbuds in with spa music. So I'm just letting spa music play, and this is like healing sounds. And in my mind, as the music is playing and as I'm receiving the treatment is just going in and just attacking those cancerous cells. And I just got to get through this. It's going to be okay. I just rested in God's hands, because I knew I had to rely on faith. There was so many unknowns, so many unpredictable, so many things popping up every single day that I had no idea how to deal with. So it was, every day you call the doctor. If you wake up with the cough because you're, in treatment, it could be something that affects your lungs. So everybody's overly concerned. You wake up with the cough, it's immediately come in, let's do an x-ray. So, it's just some things that people don't realize, because I don't really dwell in the rigorous turmoil of the treatment. I dwell more so on what was the lesson that I needed to learn from going through that. What is my purpose moving forward, and having experienced it, and what blessing can I be to others? So I just say, even if I don't know what blessings I'm being to other people. I'm just going to continue to be an advocate and just continue to push positivity and continue to give people knowledge and help them to just kind of wake up. And if you're fearful about going to the doctor, if you're afraid to get bad news, don't be. It's all in God's hands anyway. So if it's there, you going to find out whether it's there or not is not going to change it being there. So go find out. The more you know, like I said earlier, the more options are available. The early detection allows us to be able to have choices rather than wait until it's too late and you don't have the choices. Well, we can't do a lumpectomy because the tumor has grown too big for us to preserve the breast. We really have to remove the entire breast. Things of that nature. If you wait too long to get checked out, or too long to just be vigilant about your health care. You don't want to wait. You just want to make that a practice every day, even if you don't feel like it should be a concern. Oh, I'm too young, or I don't have any history in my family. It doesn't matter. Still be your own advocate. Still be vigilant in your health care. And the more you know, the more comfortable you are with your body. And you can be confident as if something does show up, God is doing that for a reason. And just pay attention and try to figure out what his purpose is for you in that reason, in that journey. So that's kind of where I went with it. And that helped me. That helped my husband, and that helped my mom, because my mom was just overly distraught. And why I just feel like we should just cry, and why my daughter? And I was like, Mom, don't say why me, because I don't feel like why me. I mean, I feel like to say why me means it should be happening to somebody else, not me. And I didn't want to think like that. I don't think it should be happening to someone else instead of me. I feel like, well, maybe me, because I'm strong and God knows that with what he's given me, with what he's instilled in me, I can be an example for someone else. So I don't think it would be better to be happening with somebody else. I never felt like that. And I don't wish it upon anyone. And, even when I tell people, you never know, you could potentially be diagnosed next year, next month, next week, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. We don't know. And I don't wish it upon anyone, but I just feel like you should educate yourself and you should want to be knowledgeable in matters of your health care. You shouldn't want to turn a blind eye. You shouldn't want to stick your head in the sand and say, oh, I hope I hope it don't happen to me. You want to be like, I'm gonna get out here in front of this thing, and I'm gonna be an advocate for myself, and I'm gonna know what's going on with my body before my doctors have to tell me, so that I can tell them, hey, something's not right. It's not the same. Something has changed. Let's talk about it. Let's investigate. So definitely that's my platform now, is just be an advocate. Get out there and push. And some people just kind of sit back and no, push. My mammogram is every year during my birthday month. So if you want to set up some type of a regular schedule to where you can keep up with it better, like I was saying with the self exams, if you do it once a month, maybe the week before your cycle, or maybe the week after your cycle, or just pick, the middle of the month. I'm going to do it every 15th of the month. Excuse me. If you are approaching menopause, or if you've already reached menopause age, you can't go by your cycle, but you can set a time frame on the calendar that you're going to do this exam. And you don't want to be obsessed about it. You don't want to be just checking yourself all the time, because when something changes, you're really not going to be as alert. But you want to give yourself time and space to assess what's going on. Okay, everything seemed normal, everything seemed adequate, and move on with life. And this time next month, I'm going to check it again. And then if you have a specific regimen where you schedule your mammograms regularly, you know that that's consistent. So my birthday is coming up next month, and my mammogram is scheduled for November 4th. My birthday is on the 14th. And by the time my birthday comes, I'll be so glad that mammogram is over with. I'm celebrating more than people realize, even if I'm just doing it by myself internally. It's a whole different type of celebration. So yes, I definitely urge people to get out in front of your health care. And I know I have spoken with some people who say that their insurance or even maybe their provider won't allow them to have a mammogram every year. They last mammogram they had, they told them to come back in 3 years. And I say, if you're okay with that, that's you and your body. I highly recommend you push to have, your body examined every year. And whatever you need to do to make that happen, just, be strong about it. You have to be strong about it. The healthcare industry has come a long way, but it's still not what it used to be in terms of care. It's more pharmaceutical. So it's not a lot of information being pushed out there about prevention as much as it is about we can fix you. So we're not going to tell you, please, please, please don't get broken, because we still got jobs. We still need to fix you. So if you get broken, we can fix you, And this is my synopsis, nobody else's opinion. And I know everybody has their own, but this is how I view what's happening, because this is what I see as a fitness professional out there teaching women about staying healthy and being able to eat have a healthy diet, eat healthy meals, have a regular exercise regimen that keeps you active 2 to 3 times a week, if not every day. Some of us are they're just addicted to those endorphins, and we got to get it in every day. The Army kind of got me addicted to endorphins like that. And I think it's a good thing. However, I know that everyone is not made of the same cloth. So, it may be too much for someone to exercise every day, but at least 2 to 3 times a week, at least 3 to 5 times a week is optimal. So exercising, eating as healthy as you possibly can, and being in front of knowing what's going on with your body, being in front of your healthcare.
Saying that was something. That was something very informative. I think this is really the very first time that I was really attentive to this type of information. Usually, I'll zone out because it hasn't happened to me, and up to my mom and you, it never happened, like that in my family. So I was a little bit back in the day, a little bit, not really thinking like this. But now I am not afraid, but I'm very vigilant
Yeah.
about keeping myself healthy. And I decided that I wanted to have you on today so that you not only help me honor my mom, but also honor women in general,
Yeah.
honor women and men, because men can get
So,
breast cancer as well. And so, before I let you go, and well, I want you to add something else if you need to, but I want you to also tell us what you're doing now, where we can find you, and all about your fitness
well,
things you
I
do.
am a fitness professional, as I stated earlier. I am licensed and certified in various platforms, to include but not limited to, because I might forget something, but group fitness instructor, um, primary aerobics instructor, personal fitness trainer, Zumba instructor. And within Zumba, there are several certifications and licenses that I have within Zumba. And to name a few, they are Zumba Gold, which targets the senior community. And it also, I know people will shy away from Zumba Gold because I'm not of that age. I'm not in that age range yet. However, if you are athletic and you've suffered from an injury through sports, it is very good for those who are very active in sports and may have some limitations due to some injuries, back injury, knee injury, hip injury. Zumba Gold is just a more grounded version of Zumba. And then there's also Zumba Kids, in which I am able to interact with kids through music that is allowing them to dance and play at the same time. And it's a combination of dance and play with uh, guided lyrics throughout the music that's telling them to stop, freeze, go, have fun, scream, or what have you. So we have Zumba Gold, Zumba Kids. There's Zumba Toning, where we use weights that are 1.5 to 2.5 pounds, depending on the size you choose. But they are shaped very differently from their normal weights. They're typically longer, and they have this, when you shake them, they have this maraca sound of maracas in them. So Zumba Toning, I am licensed in that as well. So also in the group fitness realm, under the AAAI ISMA, which is the American Aerobic Association International and International Sports Medicine Association. I am also licensed as a yoga phase 3 instructor. So I've recently taken on the yoga platform and also stress reduction, relaxation, and meditation platform. So I have a license in that, and I've just started teaching those classes, and I really combine the yoga and the meditation. So it's not so much as the various poses throughout the hour that we are practicing, but it's more so of holding and sustaining one or two specific poses and just quieting our mind and reflecting internally so that we can be more in tune with our bodies through calming our minds. So I have that. And then I also am an indoor cycling instructor. So I have the cycling instructor license as well, and quite a few others. But I have a website, and the website is www.mystudiovive.com. And Studio Vive, I discovered that in 2014. I created that fitness. I wanted to have a fitness studio as opposed to a gym because I just wanted to have an at-home feel. I wanted people to be able to go where everybody knew their name. I had been teaching at various YMCAs and other fitness facilities as well. I taught at a Gold's Gym. I taught at LA Fitness. I taught at, wow, I can't even remember. Powerhouse Gym, and I taught at another fitness facility in Maryland. And I bring all this up to say that I would be teaching and see how the students were smiling next to each other or friendly with each other, and I thought they knew each other. And I would say, "Hey, Kim, how are you and Pam doing?" And Kim would be like, "Who?" And I was like, "Pam, you dance beside her every week." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't even know her name. We just, start smiling and dancing with each other." So when I started my studio, I wanted to combat that. I didn't know her name. So we made it a point to know each other's name and be real familiar. So my fitness studio is more of a family-oriented facility. It is a private facility now, mainly because of COVID, but also because I've had some physical injuries myself. I broke my ankle 3 years ago, and then recently, back in February, I was rear-ended in a car accident, hit by a commercial truck. So still navigating, getting through, not being able to be that Energizer bunny that I used to be. Physically, mentally, I'm still there, and I feel like I needed this meditation and yoga meditation and stress reduction and relaxation because I needed to kind of calm down, getting on up there, and I can't just be jumping around forever. So I know I needed to calm down, but I needed to do it at my own pace. But God was like, "Hey, now's a good time." God was like, "Hey, now's a good time to slow down." So I'm paying attention. I'm picking up on the lessons, and I am definitely scouting out what my purposes are within these life journeys that are kind of overlapping with each other that I'm experiencing. And I'm also, still trying to see what blessings they are for me, and as well, what blessings can I be for other people. So www.mystudiovive.com, And also, just a fun fact, Studio Vive, I created that name because Vive, as in survivor, Vive, in the Latin uh, term is to live. So a survivor to live, and my studio is to allow you to live, to survive and thrive. And that's kind of how I, again, being analytical, that's kind of how I came about with discovering the name and putting the energy into what I wanted the functionality and the purpose of this fitness facility to be. So I am doing virtual classes, and right now the only classes that I'm doing are the yoga meditations classes, which are on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. And that may change, but right now that is the current time frame, and that's 7 p.m. Central Time. And we are just enjoying quieting our minds and allowing ourselves to stop the inner chatter, because that's what's going on. I'm not good enough. I'm not big enough. I'm not small enough. I'm not cute enough. I'm too big. I'm too fat. I'm too short. I'm too tall. You know, all this chatter that we have going on, everybody has some insecurities. And being able to meditate and apply the yoga practices to our meditation allows us to quiet all that down and reach inside and get the positivity out of ourselves. Look for the light within yourselves. And so in our yoga meditations, we say namaste, the light in me sees the light in you. And so that's what I practice now. And again, Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Central Time. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. If you want to send an email, the email address is mystudiovibe@gmail.com. So pretty easy to reach out to me if you want to. I'm here. I'm available. Let me know if you have any other questions or anybody who's interested in joining us. I am introducing the classes for free, and I know you've been supporting me for quite some time, and I truly appreciate that, Nikki. It means a lot to me. It's very heartfelt that my home girl got my back. So I really do love and appreciate you for that. And but with this pandemic and the social distancing practice being in place and people struggling and having some financial difficulties, I just want to open the platform up and not deny anybody just because they don't have the funds or don't want to pay for a relaxation class. So I'm opening it up starting next month, November. All of the yoga meditation classes will be free, and I will put that information on my website. And again, if you want to email me or you can send me a private message on Facebook if you like, and I'm San Thompson on Facebook. So feel free to reach out to me, and we can make a connection and keep this thing going. We need to grow in numbers in whatever we do, because there's strength in numbers, and it's something wonderful about women uplifting women. We spend so much time trying to compare ourselves, and in comparing ourselves, we're tearing ourselves down because we're trying to be like somebody else, but we're also tearing them down because we don't want them to be great. They don't, why with her great self, why she's so great? You know, we need to be uplifted. Yes, honey, you are great. And I'm great too. And we're going to be great together. Let's make some more people great. Let's, we don't have to be great in the same way. Everybody can be great in their own way. Everyone has a uniqueness that they can bring to the table that others can benefit from. So I absolutely love collaborating, corroborating, getting together, sharing, caring, uplifting, empowering. I'm all about empowering, and I feel like that is my purpose behind everything that I'm doing: informing people, educating people, um, helping with fitness options and healthy lifestyle choices. All of it is to empower you, man or woman, but my specific audience is mostly women of any age. So I have a passion for it. I just love making people happy or helping people to see a better side of themselves. I love being able to do that, not for my own gratification, but just so that I can help people introduce themselves to themselves, if that makes sense. And that little discovery came from when I was in basic training. And no, not basic training, because it was several years that I had been in the military. I had been in the military, I think about 6 or 7 years before I went to officer training. And when I went to officer training, they were asking us to do these astronomical amount of exercises. And I'm saying to myself, I've never done that before. I can't do that. And how you know you can't do it? You've never done it before. And so they would say, do 20 push-ups. I'm like, oh my God, 20 push-ups is gonna kill me. And so I would get down and I would start in one and one and one. And one by one, I make it to 20. It's like, oh, I did not know. I just discovered myself. So that little epiphany allowed me to just want to be able to help other people discover themselves. It's something within you that you're not aware of, and you will not be aware of it until somebody else brings it to your attention, good, bad, or indifferent. And so we have to constantly think of, supporting, uplifting, engaging one another, empowering one another so we can bring out our best selves. You can't do it all by yourself. No matter how hard you try, you can meditate by yourself, you can work out by yourself, you can plan things and accomplish things by yourself, but you're never going to get to your ultimate best self by yourself. So that's my takeaway, I think, what I want everybody to leave with. And let's just do it together in whatever way we can. So your screen froze, and I don't know if mine is frozen or if you can still hear me, but I'll repeat my website, www.mystudio5.com, and my email, mystudio5@gmail.com. And I am San Thompson on Facebook. So, Nikki, if you're talking, I can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm still here. Oh, it's not. So,
It came back. Stop, Naya. Stop. Everything came back, guys. But I am going to wrap it up. I apologize. We had technical difficulties. Um, it came back. Stop, Naya. So now I am going to wrap it up. I thank you so much for joining us. Hold just a moment. It came back. Yes. So again, if you want to read Sandra Thompson, that's mystudiovibe.com. She is looking forward to assisting you guys in your challenges with your challenges and with your goals for wellness. That is mystudiovibe.com. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will be coming back soon with another guest. Bye bye. So now I am going to wrap it up. I thank you so much for joining us.